extracting text from PDFs and images with Azure AI. We'll start as soon as possible. Just give us like 3 to 4 minutes to get started. So while you're waiting for people, you can send you can share the link to your contacts. You can just help us do that. You can share the link to your contact, and so they could join, or they could be aware that we are starting like very, very soon. Yeah. So once we have some few guys more, we start. Okay, so once it's 2:10, we get started. We are recording presently also. Yes. Okay. All right, welcome everyone. So we'll get started at the moment. Okay, yeah. So good afternoon, everybody. I believe you're in the afternoon, wherever you are. A good day. So we'll be starting this event. So this event is organized by Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors. As it's an ambassador body for students in schools for Microsoft. So my name is Josiah Adishola. I'm a better Microsoft Student Ambassador, and I'll be your host for this event. So as we can see, the topic is okay, let me just give a brief introduction of myself more than that. Okay, so I'm into machine learning, and I'm also into technical writing. I'm also a technical writer. So my field of technical writing is into like AI and Python. So I use Python most of the time, and I love using Azure. I'm also a student, I'm a 400 level student of system engineering, University of Lagos. So Jibola is also my colleague, and I also love teaching. That's one of the other things I do most of the time. And I'm very interested in the buzzwords, this generative AI everything, especially for the NLP side of things. So I'm passionate about learning what goes behind, let me use the word, our chat GPT, and how we can use it to build solutions and the rest. So I'm excited to have us there. So I think quite a number of us here, we are also into the same field, or we are just interested in gaining more knowledge, or either you are starting from the beginning, or you're already in the field and you want to gain more knowledge, or you just want to learn one or two new things. So I think we're in the right place. Okay, so I'll just give a brief introduction into what we'll be doing, and then Jola will continue. We get straight to the main matter. So just a general introduction for those of us that maybe you have few idea of AI or are not really familiar. So artificial intelligence basically is just helping computers mimic human intelligence, or helping a computer do what a human being can do. So in the context of what we are learning today, we're talking about extracting text from images or PDFs. And being, if you see and the flyer we created or the poster we created, you would easily pick out what the text, like the document contains images, colors, patterns, and shapes, basically. So you could easily dictate, okay, this one is circle. This is the image of Josiah. You could easily, okay, say that, oh, this is the main topic, this is the subheadline, and the rest like that. Though the solution we'll be building might not be as complex as that today, basically, but we're going to be building something similar. So you could easily extract text from PDFs and images. And the great part, so I'm just part of coming here to learn, is trying to build your portfolio as you want to be. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm sorry about that. So portfolio as maybe you're in data science or ML. Like, this is a very good privilege. So we're going to be teaching you also how to embed this machine learning API. That's the solution. Embed it into like a working prototype app, so you can easily, and you can also get it deployed. So I don't post the link before. So you are going to be showing you how to do that. So you are going to build a working solution, a working app that you can demo to your friends or anybody, and you can take this to the next level if you want. For instance, a good application of this is, so I'll be wrapping up with just one or two applications. Application is, some of us or a new place, and let's say, I'm sorry, you have a traffic sign, and maybe they're telling you, okay, go 30 kilometers. It can be in French, it can be in Russian, it can be in Spanish or whatsoever. And maybe you do not get this, but they're telling you that this is a danger zone, or this is the wrong road. This road is only for motorists, this road is only for cyclists or the rest. And you don't even could not read the image. Can help you just take a picture of the stop, the text, and you can way of translating the text into a desired language. And all this can be done with Azure AI actually. All right. So that's just one use case. So there are several use cases of this. Jibola has been taking us through the whole.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me. If you can, maybe you could react. You could just react. I would really appreciate that. I hope you can hear me. Can we hear me? You could also unmute yourself and let me know. Can we hear me? Can we hear me? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. I also believe that we can see our screen. See my screen. I believe you can see my screen. So, okay, just in case. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. And we can take this opportunity to invite your friend if you haven't already, because this is going to be an amazing session, right? So thank you very much for joining. We'll delve straight in, right? My name is Ajibola Matthew. I'm an Alpha Microsoft Lens Student Ambassador, and I'm your host for today. The person who you just heard speak was Josiah Adeshola, as he introduced himself. He's a Beta Microsoft Lens Student Ambassador. We are both students of the same department in University of Lagos, where we both study systems engineering. And one thing that fascinates me the most is the ability to be able to build solutions, right? I believe that as humans, one of the things that would keep happening in the society is problems. There would always be problems. But then the only way we can tackle these problems is by having solutions, right? And a platform like Azure actually makes it very easy. It makes it easier to be able to build solutions. I mean, you could wake up today and say, I want to build so and so. I want to build a generative AI model. I want to utilize the ChatGPT that is already in existence. And you could just do that with some few API calls for a particular problem and solve that and create a solution. So this is just one of the solutions that we'll be building, right? So let me, I believe we can share my screen. I'll start the presentation right now. Okay, yes. So the topic, like Josiah introduced, is from pixels to paragraphs, extracting text from PDFs and images with Azure AI. With Azure AI. So basically, we are trying to build an OCR system, right? That basically helps you extract text in a computer readable format and in a computer readable format. I don't know how many of us are familiar with some tools, some mathematical tools that help you solve problems instantly, in which you just scan your maths problem and it helps you solve that problem. So basically, this is an this is a way and like the starting point of building something like that actually, because you could use the solution we have to extract text from handwritten digits. So basically, you could just snap your handwritten note and you could extract text. So as far as your note is legible, then you'll be able to extract the text that it is written in. So basically, that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to extract text from PDFs and images with Azure AI. And to be honest, the benefits of this is countless. Imagine you have 1,000 pages PDF and you're looking for a particular word. You know that, okay, um, um, manufacturing process. Okay, imagine that I'm an engineering student. Sorry that I'm going to be biased with topics based on that. So imagine I'm looking for the keyword manufacturing process in an entire PDF, and uh, say just imagine I could not search, right? Or imagine it was difficult to search, right? I could just pass this PDF to that. The solution we'll be building today. It extracts the text and automatically you can look for what you're looking for. Or very easily, you could even convert the text you've extracted and you could pass it through an audio reader and convert it to, say, an audio book. Do you understand? Just by extracting the text or even images. I mean, you can make your images talk. What do I mean? Extract the text and pass it through an audio reader and it reads your text in your images. So there are countless benefits for this, right? And yeah, and that's part of what you want to explore. So the prerequisites for following through this walkthrough is these following things listed here. The first one, Azure for Students account. So the demography that this is targeted to is mostly for people that are students, right? So if you're a student, you can log on to Azure, right? And you'll be able to access um, a student account, and this student account comes with a lot of benefits. You get $100 credit, you get some free resources that you can use for a lifetime. You get some really wonderful benefits, right? So just search on Google Azure for Students and you would get linked to this. So you can quickly do this if you want to follow along because you need some particular resources, right? As we move on. So the next thing is Python 3.6 or later. Python 3.6 or later. So if you do not have Python installed, you just search Google right now also and try and install Python. Trust me, it's an easy process, right? It's an easy process. And if you are using a Mac, just type Python installation for Mac. You're using Windows 10 or something, Python installation for Windows 10, Windows 11, whichever. Then Visual Studio Code, you could also just go, just download it. I could have shown us, but I really do not want to waste time. That's why they're prerequisites, right? So Visual Studio Code, you just search online for Visual Studio Code installer and you install it on your system. Then knowledge of Azure portal navigation. So for this, it's not really a big prerequisite, as I would walk us through the exact process required to create this app. So thank you for staying with me up to this point. The learning objectives for today. Learning objectives for today. So we want to identify how the Azure AI Vision service enables you to read text from images with the Read API. So basically, we'll be using something called Read API from Microsoft, right, to be able to extract text from the images. So another thing that we'll learn, we use the Azure AI Vision service with SDKs. So SDKs are basically software development kits. The next one is we'll develop an application that can read printed and handwritten text. The next one is you use Streamlit to deploy the application. I'd like to apologize for the background noise. If there's any, I'd like to apologize for that. Thank you very much. So our agenda for today. So quickly, we'll go into brief introduction to computer vision. We would go into introduction to OCR, Optical Character Recognition, which is the technology behind recognizing and extracting images from text from images. So the next one, we'll go briefly into introduction to Azure AI services, Azure AI services, Azure AI services. And to be more specific, thank you for that, Stephen Samuel. Thank you for that. Introduction to AI services, more specifically Azure AI Vision services, Azure AI Vision services. Then we'll do a quick knowledge check, right? And then exercise using Azure AI for OCR and exercise deploying app to Streamlit. So brief introduction to computer vision. I don't know if I said so earlier, but one of the main fields, main focus, right, that I have is computer vision, because I believe it's an interesting field. I mean, if you hear computer vision for the first time, giving your computers the ability to see. So that's really wonderful, right? So I'll be reading through these points now. Computer vision is a branch of artificial intelligence focused on enabling machines to interpret and understand visual information. Very simple. The same way humans can see a cat, see a dog, see his fellow human and recognize that, oh, that's someone, that's a cat, that's a dog, this is my bag, right? That's basically what we try to do. And like Josiah rightly said earlier, the whole field of artificial intelligence, like from the name states, is trying to mimic human intelligence. Whatsoever humans can do in a particular way, we're going to try and create it into machines, right? We want to try and create it into machines, right? So the goal of computer vision is to extract meaningful information from visual data, allowing machines to make decisions on what they see. The goal of computer vision, we want to extract meaningful information from visual data. Some of the applications of computer vision are image recognition. So image recognition, basically, I want to be able to recognize recognize something particular about an image, right? I want to be able to yes. Then object detection. So this one, say in an image, I snapped Josiah holding a dog, right? Say he was walking a dog and I snapped that image. So object recognition is me being able to recognize each pieces of that image, right? So Josiah is a man, right? So that's one part of the image. Then the dog is another part of the image. I hope you understand. So object detection is trying to detect multiple objects or entities in an image. Image segmentation, landmark extraction, So landmark extraction basically is extracting like details from image. I would not be able to delve really into this because that's not our subject of focus for today. Then optical character recognition also. The last point here says computer vision often leverages deep learning, a subset of machine learning to train models on large data sets. Deep learning algorithms like convolutional neural networks excel at tasks like image recognition and object detection, making them integral to computer vision applications. Now, you see one good thing about Azure AI, it kind of abstracts the knowledge of all these things. You really do not need to know deep learning. You really do not need to know convolutional neural network. You really do not need to know how to use TensorFlow to create a neural network and worry about your learning rates and things like that. You really do not need that. All you need is just an Azure for a student account or whatever Azure subscription and your API. That's all. That's one of the good things about using Azure platform, right? So this is what the computer sees, right? So whether be it an image, a feed from webcam, or a video, all the computer is seeing is just basically numbers, right? The computer is seeing some zeros, 255, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We know how that images are made up of pixels, right? So the computer really is not seeing like humans now. Once we see an object, we immediately recognize it. I mean, we do not see objects in pixels. That would be strange. Then I can't remember the name of this movie. Then that would make this movie that had this yellow thing come to reality. I can't remember the name of the movie. But then imagine seeing people as pixels. That would be strange. But then humans do not see things as numbers, right? We see things as they are. But computers actually see pictures or whatever as images, as numbers, right? And these numbers are what, yeah, pixels. Thank you very much for giving me. Okay, that's the name of the movie, so pixels. Yeah. So that's basically that's how humans see, right? So computers see images as numbers. They see images as numbers. So at the end of the day, computer cannot really know that, oh, this is Josiah. It just sees pixels, right? And it is these pixels, which is in the form of numbers, that are now trained, right, to get the results we are looking for. That's why we should always appreciate platforms like Azure that have taken the pain to train most of these models. It will surprise you to know that some of these models are trained for a long time, a really long time. Some of them are trained for weeks, months. Imagine some models I've heard that some models are trained for years, but then we are happy. We can easily go to Azure and sign up and just call an API and use the handiwork for years, right? That's a really good one. So I've been moving quickly to introduction to OCR. But first of all, I want to know, can we hear me? Am I legible? Am I audible? Are you understanding me?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you and you're clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. So we'll be going into introduction to OCR. We'll soon get busy. Our hands will soon get busy because I know some developers here, they really do not like talk, right? I have a developer friend that was like, less talk, more code. I know that's how some people are, and some people prefer the talk. So I'm trying to balance it. We'll soon get to make our hands busy. Yes, and don't be scared for those people that are not really code inclined, right? Because like I said, we really do not need majority of code. Most of the code has been written by Azure. We just have to copy and paste, which is the most important tool for developers, copying and pasting. God bless copying and pasting. Anyways, introduction to OCR. OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition. It's a technology that converts different types of documents, such as scanned paper documents, PDF files, or images captured by a digital camera into editable and searchable data. All that story means is extracting text, right? OCR software identifies and extracts text characters from a document, enabling the conversion of scanned or image-based text into machine-readable and editable format. I mean, you could have an image, right? And the OCR technology just allows us to extract the text into something that you can now copy and paste, which that's why they said editable format. You get, because an image does not directly give you the ability to just copy text from it, except you are just designing like the image from scratch. You cannot just see an image and just copy the text on it. You need softwares like this that would enable us to do that, right? So the next point says modern OCR systems often utilize machine learning techniques, including deep neural networks for character recognition. These models are trained on large data sets to improve accuracy and adapt to different fonts and styles. So one of the reasons why it will always be difficult and it will not be very productive to solely rely on your ability to create models from scratch is because you can't just compete with the data and information these big companies have. I mean, maximum for some projects, I'm always shouting, oh, create models from scratch. I love it, right? But then at the end of the day, the maximum data I can get my hands on, say 10,000 data points. Let's say, oh, I saw somewhere an 100,000 data points, right? But then these big companies have access to millions, billions, and trillions of data sets, which makes their technology always more accurate and better, right? Because they have the access to more data. Although we've been seeing in recent times that they are trying to build like networks that would be able to adapt to smaller amount of data sets. We could use techniques like transfer learning, but then we still know that they are superior to whatever data sets we can have, right? So the next point. OCR systems may be specialized for specific languages or fonts. This specialization allows for more accurate recognition by tailoring the algorithms and training data to the specific characteristics of the language or fonts being processed. This is very profound. So say I want to build a software that basically solves the problem I said earlier, the one as regards scanning a math problem and extracting the text. Of course, if I want to do that, I'll not really, my training data won't basically be images from the internet, right? Or images that do not contain handwritten data. Although that would help, but then it will be way more better if I could get images of handwritten text. Do you understand? So that particular OCR system would be more specialized to handwritten extraction, handwritten text extraction. Do you understand? So it's really counterintuitive for me to now go ahead and start cropping images that do not even have handwritten text. I mean, that's not going to be really wise, is it? The OCR process, image with text, PDF, scanned or printed or handwritten document. Then it goes into our OCR system and we get back our text. Introduction to Azure AI services, and to be more specific, Azure AI Vision Service. Azure AI Vision Service. Microsoft's Azure AI Vision Service provides pre-built computer vision capabilities. The service can analyze images and return detailed information about an image and objects depict. So this is just Microsoft Azure AI Vision Service in general. To be honest, if you haven't, you could just head over to learn.microsoft.com and try to explore the capabilities of Azure AI Vision Services. There's one of its technologies that is called image captioning, right? That's actually a very wonderful technology. You can just pass in an image and to give you a description of that particular image. Like what I made reference to earlier about an image of Josiah holding a dog, right? If I was to pass in that particular image to this particular technology, image captioning technology, right? It's going to give me an input to state a man holding a dog. Of course, the AI system will not know that that man is Josiah, but then it's going to give you a man holding a dog. Do you understand? So it has a lot of capabilities that we can explore. And this one that we're doing today, the OCR, is just one of many, right? So yeah. To use Azure AI Vision Service, you have two options, which are a specific resource for the computer vision service or a general resource that includes computer vision along with many other Azure AI services, such as Azure AI Language, Azure AI Custom Vision, Azure AI Translator, and others. So there are multiple branches of AI. Do you understand? There's not only Azure AI Vision, as we are saying, there's Azure AI Language, there's custom vision, there's AI Translator. You could build, you could be very creative, right? Like Josiah said, the things to do with these things are boundless, right? We could add whatever we do today. We could say, okay, we are building text extraction, right? We could do something like, okay, say once it extracts the text from an image, it's converted to another language. Say the person that is using it is someone that is Chinese, a Chinese man, right? And he does not just want to see the English version of what was extracted, he wants to see it in a Chinese version. So you could just put something there and convert it to China. Do you understand? So the possibilities are boundless, to be honest. So Microsoft Azure AI Vision service is really powerful and it's very easy to use. All you need is a key that, all you need is a key that is used to authenticate client applications and an endpoint that provides the HTTP address at which a resource can be accessed. All this jargon will be broken down into bits once we follow the workflow. The next point, to perform OCR, there are two options, the read API and the image analysis API. So there are two options available to us for us to go ahead with this project, right? The read API and the image analysis API. So we will be using the read API today and not the image analysis API because the image analysis API is still in preview, right? It's still in preview. So we'll be using the read API, which also does what we want and it does this really well. So there's really no need to use the image analysis API, although it might have its own perks. Knowledge check, knowledge check, knowledge check, knowledge check. This is it. Okay. What do we think? Does OCR utilize machine learning? Yes, no, I'm not sure. I just unmute your mic and say something. Yes, no, I'm not sure. Does it utilize machine learning? What do we think? Anything?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
And also type. If you want to type. Someone
Yes,
said
it
yes
does.
in call.
Yes, it does. Okay. Okay. You are wrong. Yeah, you're right. Yes, it uses machine learning. There's OCR technology uses machine learning. It uses machine learning. Yes, that's the answer. So now we'll begin the main work, right? The exercise where we'd actually go ahead to code something up, right? So I would, I'll copy this link now and paste it in the chat. I'll copy this link and paste it to the chat. We can follow along. So we can follow along what I'm about to do. So yes, this is a Microsoft Learn module. This is a Microsoft Learn module that we can use to for this particular task. The particular Microsoft Learn module I'll be using for this task. So yes, I have it opened already. So before that, let me just show you the end products, a quick preview of what we'll be building. So if you want to access that, you could just go to HTTPS yes, you could just go to this link, text extraction Azure. Let me also copy and paste it in case you want to try it out. So I've sent it. So basically, this is the app built by the blah 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 that it utilizes Azure AI and all. So basically, all you have to do is just go there, browse files, then select files, right? Then the magic will be done for you. So basically, see, this is handwritten, right? Written with marker, right? So shopping list, non-fat milk, right? Bread, eggs, right? So imagine, say, you had a wife or something, and you want to send her. Okay, I don't know. I was trying to look for an illustration, but I'm not really thinking of any. What I was about to say was not. It was not gelling my head. So, anyways, this is the image, shopping list, non-fat milk, bread, eggs, and this is what was extracted, right? So it was perfect in this case. Shopping list, non-fat milk, bread, and eggs. It was actually perfect. So it was able to extract this text out from this image, right? And it gave us this. So that's what we'll be building today. So at the end of this lesson, we're going to have something similar and even better if we decide to top it up with other tools, right? So if you clicked on the link I sent earlier, you would be on this page. You would be on this page. So this is the particular one you'll be using. This is the particular one you'll be using. So this is the particular read text in images and documents with the Azure AI vision services. So you can go ahead to introduction and go ahead to introduction of. So it says a lot. Suppose you are given thousands of images and a lot and a lot and a lot. So we can use Azure AI Vision Service and OCR to extract text from images, which we already know, right? So let's dive straight in. So like I said, there are two options we have, the read API and the image analysis API, right? The image analysis API is still in preview, like I said, and the read API, we can use it to read small to large volumes of text from images. I mean, I tried a whole textbook on this app that I built rather. I tried a whole textbook. I uploaded a whole textbook and it was able to read every single thing, right? So let's continue. Yes, like Josiah just said, it can hold as far as 200 MB file. So to use the read API, call the read rest function or SDK, we would be using the SDK method, right? Which would be able to access through Python, right? Passing the image URL or binary data. So basically, we could just say we had an image on Google, right? We could just copy the link, paste it, or binary data, and optionally specifying the language the text is written in. Yes, so it's going to make more sense, right? So imagine we're trying to extract text from text that is written in Chinese, right? A text that is written in Chinese and a text that is written in English. So say you just paste your model and the text is written in Chinese, right? It will give the model a harder time to be able to figure out what language it is written in. But then if you just specify that, okay, this is English, this is China, this is Chinese rather, then it's going to help, right? So let's read this. It said the read function returns an operation ID, which you can use in a subsequent call to get the read result in order to retrieve the details of the text that has been read. Depending on the volume of text, you may need to pull the get. So the results from the read API are broken down by page, then line, and then word. Simple. So say in this particular example, this shopping list is a line. Do you understand? So it's basically telling us that it processes it in form of lines. Do you understand? It first say is a PDF with multiple pages. It first processing a page, and after a page, a particular image, then lines, right? So in that case, that means if it wants to read this particular image, it's going to first print shopping list, then non-fat milk, then bread, then eggs, right? Because it said the text values are included at both the line and word levels, right? First by page, then line, and then word, right? So the text values are included at both line and word levels, making it easier to read entire lines of text. You don't need to extract text at the individual word level. So basically, this is the result you get if you are using the REST API, right? So you can click continue to follow along. Just click continue. So you have options, right? It's either you can sign in to launch the lab, right? That is, you would have a dedicated environment to be able to complete this exercise. I do not think you need an Azure resource for this. I'm not so sure. They said you may need to bring your own subscription depending on the lab. You will not be charged for the lab environment. So if peradventure you've not created an Azure for Students account, which I think you should really do, you can probably use this, right? You could use this actually. Just sign in to launch the lab and move on. You would have a dedicated environment, and yeah. But we would not be doing that. Said if you are completing this exercise on your own computer, which we are doing, follow this exercise instructions. So basically, we just have to head over to this site, right? So if we click on that, it basically brings us to this place. Read text in images. We're in the right place. The Azure AI Vision Service provides 2 APIs for reading text, which we'll explore. So the very first thing, start your Visual Studio Code. So mine is up and running. You can open your Visual Studio Code, Then it said, open the palette, right? Ctrl+Shift+B and run a git clone command to clone this repository. So we have to clone this repository, right? So you could use your git, you could use your Visual Studio Code, the terminal there, or you could also use your git bash, right? Which is a tool provided by GitHub and is accessible to anyone and everyone, right? So I just want to navigate to the directory where I'll be using this, right? And I just have to do cd, right? cd for desktop, then so you don't really have to mind this. Just basically, you can use it in your desktop, you can use it anywhere, just navigate to the directory you want, right? So I'm already in the Microsoft directory. I have ls, is basically to view what is there. So I have MLSA event 1, and I have Vision AI. So I'm going to clone it into this particular directory. I'm going to clone it into this particular direction. All I have to do is just git clone, then paste, right? Control V does not work in git bash. I could use shift and insert too. So git clone that. Then it's going to clone into AI 102 engineer, which is basically their file. So basically we'll follow the instructions here. So yes, it should have done that by now. You can confirm. See, we have our AI 102 engineer. It was created by 2:51 p.m., which we just did now. So AI 102 engineer. So all we can do now is just navigate into that. See the AI 102 engineer. We're already there. View what is inside. You see, we have a lot of things. So basically, this pack is for this particular directory that we just downloaded from Microsoft, right? Contains a lot of other things that you can do, right? So if you follow other Microsoft learning paths, you are going to surely encounter that. Well, our focus for today is 20 OCR. Our focus for today is 20 OCR, right? So what I would do is I would navigate into 20 OCR, right? And let me first show you what is inside. C# and Python. Then from here, I'm going to open my Visual Studio Code. From here, you could actually do that by just typing code dot, right? Dot is just indicating that we are talking about the current directory, which is 20 OCR, right? If I do code dot, it's going to load up my Visual Studio Code into this particular directory, 20 OCR. So that saves us a lot of stress. So one advice to people that are probably just starting out the tech journey or maybe halfway into, I would advise that you can use your command prompt. You can use your command prompt. Your command prompt or Git bash or any terminal actually saves you a lot of stress, right? There are some few commands that are really necessary that would save you a lot of stress. You can do a lot from your terminal. You can do a lot from your terminal. You can do a lot. You can navigate through your old file systems and you can, do a lot, like I said. So it opened up this, which is what we have. So I don't know, have any of us been able to clone? Have any of us been able to clone? Have any of us been able to clone the Okay, I'm seeing that someone is typing. Okay, and the process of cloning, let me wait a bit. I'll wait a bit for you, sir. Okay, you downloaded the file. That's wonderful. You could also do that. So once you extract, you just continue and do everything you need. Okay, so I would kind of speed up the process so I'll not waste time, right? Kind of speed up the process, but trust me, okay, you are in. That's wonderful. There would be a recording, right? There'll be a recording at the end of the session, so you'll be able to. So any part you missed, you'll definitely be able to go back to it. So now I want us to navigate to portal.azure.com. And let me just recap. So in case you missed anything I'm saying now, right, you could still go back to it. Do you understand? You could still go back to it, the recording, and watch, since there's going to be a recording at the end, right? So just navigate to portal.azure.com. I've opened it here, portal.azure.com. And one advice though, whenever you create resources, be careful as to the pricing and pricing. I created a resource for an Azure web app, and trust me, I didn't even receive requests on the backend app that I created resource for, and it used more than $80 out of the students credit I had, more than $80, $90, and I stopped it. I stopped that particular resource. So it was crazy. Since then, I've learned my lesson. So monthly 150 credit now is remaining $12. It was crazy. But then, so always check the type of resource you are using, the type of resource that you are creating, and that. So now I want to create an Azure. So simple, they say search for Azure AI service, right? So we just have to search for Azure. So I'm searching for Azure AI services. So which is this Azure AI services. So it is loading up. So is okay. Coming. It's currently sorry about this. My laptop is currently hanging for a bit, but to get resolved very quickly, right? So okay, yes. So if you see this, it said create an Azure AI Services multi-service account. Create an Azure AI multi-service account. So you just have to scroll down up until the end and create. So it's creating, and they've given us the setting. That's the good thing about Azure, right? That's given us exactly what we need, right? So giving us a setting, said your Azure subscription. So that's this subscription. You can create a resource group, right? You can create a resource group actually. So I'm going to be using this resource group. If you do not have any resource group, just click on create new and just type the name. That's all there is to do. Just type the name of the resource group. Region, choose any available region, name, enter a unique name. So let's just say OCR event 1, OCR event. You can use any name, any unique name. Then pricing tier, it said pick standard SO. The region that was automatically you provide is either invalid or already in use. So let me see. So let me see OCR event. Let's see if it works. You see it works. OCR event. Don't use underscore, use hyphen. So it only allows alphanumeric characters. Pricing tower, tier rather, pick standard SO. Then by checking this box, then let's confirm if there's any other thing we need to know. Let's select the required checkboxes and see. That's all. Then just review, create. It just gives us the basic information about everything that we just did. OCR event, standard SO, and all that. Then we create, initializing deployment, write it at this side, submitting deployment, and finish deployment in progress. And yes, so our deployment is complete. So let's go to resource. Go to resource. Once your deployment is succeeded, head over to resource. Head over to resource, and from there, what we need now, the most important thing we need from everything we just did is located here. So you just go to keys and endpoints, and this key one and this endpoint is the most important thing, right? So basically it's an API, application program interface, right? An API basically can be likened to a waiter, right? A waiter in the sense that, say you go to a restaurant, you want to eat, you submit your wants, you submit your request. I want a bar, I want rice and chicken, right? You submit your request. Then the waiter processes your request and gives you, right, in form of a response. So the waiter responds back to you with what you want, my eba or my rice and stew, or rice and chicken, right? That's what the waiter responds with. Do you understand? So that process of sending a request and receiving a response is what an API does. So in this case, so imagine now that the waiter does not know me before, or okay, yes. So in this case, where I'm saying key, right? Key basically is like the password. So before I can, any Nigerian restaurant or any restaurant in the world, I mean, before you can get the food, you have to submit payment unless I wash plates. Get. If I don't want to wash plates, I have to submit a form of payment. So it could be could use my card, I could use physical cash, right, and pay. So that's the key in this sense. So this key is what validates that, oh, this person is able to be able to access this rice and chicken, or in this sense, access this AI resource. Do you understand? And these endpoints, we can liken it to the location on the web. Now, the location in, say, Lagos, I stay in Nigeria, Lagos. So the location in Lagos where I get my rice and chicken, or SPAG, like in the University of Lagos, there's somewhere called the Korede SPAG. So in this case, the endpoint is going to be the Korede SPAG, or in this case, this URL, whereby you can go and access whatever you're looking for, right? And the key is the money I'll pay to the person that is in Korede SPAG. And once he sees the money and the money is equal to the amount of what I'm purchasing, it gives me. So that's the sense of, so you can submit any key, right? I can submit 15 naira for 1,500 naira spaghetti. But then, of course, it's not going to give me the food because it's not up to the money. That's the same way I can submit a wrong key, right? Which the resource is not going to give me what I want, right? So that's enough talk. So I believe we've done that, and if you've not done that, do not forget that we would have the time to do that once you get recording. So prepare to use the Azure AI Vision SDK. Do not forget SDK is software development kit. So we'll be using Python. If you are using C#, you could also follow along. Just copy the C# code, right? So this is a Python code. It says pip install Azure AI, blah, 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 Azure Cognitive Service. Then click on copy and open your, sorry about that, open your Visual Studio Code. Then this is our Python. So first of all, what you have to do is click on Control and tick. It will open your terminal. Tick is just directly below escape on your keyboard. I'm not sure if the name is tick, but that symbol that is just directly below your escape, click control and that is going to open your terminal. Right? We need our terminal so that we can continue what we are doing. So now we have to install a particular package. So one of the best things to do as a developer is to actually use a virtual environment, right? To create a virtual environment and work in a virtual environment. But for this, I'm not going to be using a virtual environment, right? You could, you should, but then I'm not going to be doing that. But if you wanted to, you just do Python and module VM, and say you want to create the VM, the name of the virtual environment as OCR, then you do this. The reason I'm not doing this is because I don't know. Recently, my laptop has been taking time to run this particular command. That's why I'm quite skeptical to proceed using this command. So please just do it if you want to create a virtual environment and install all your resources there. But because of my laptop, I'm not going to be doing that. I just hope you understand. So just paste what we wrote earlier, right? Pip install Azure Cognitive Services Vision, Computer Vision equals to. So this is just specifying the version of what we want to install. So just do that and just do that. It's taking some time to install, and so now imagine having to create the virtual environment. I'll wait for that. I'll do this and wait for it also. It's going to take time. So I hope you understand. Creating virtual environment is very much advised. It's very much advised. Having a virtual environment is going to help you manage your dependencies. Each project has different dependencies, right? If I want to, there's some particular project I'm going to work on, and it requires Python 2.7, right? And another project I want to work on requires Python 3.0, right? Or Python 3.11, 3.11, right? So if I do not have, if I do not manage my dependencies well, it's going to cause some package conflicts. So basically, like you see, I already have it installed. That's why you're seeing requirements already satisfied, right? We're getting requirements already satisfied. But for you, it's going to write installing, and it's going to a bunch of packages, right? So yes, we have it installed and we are ready to roll. So let's see the next instruction. Said build the content of the read text folder for Python and note that it contains a file for configuration settings. Open the configuration file, blah, 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 blah. So .env. So all we have to do is just go to our this is our key. You can use any of them. Copy the key, come here, go to Python, read text, go to .env, my key, paste my key, and yes, my endpoints. I come here, go here, paste my endpoints. Very simple. So one thing that you shouldn't do is expose this endpoint. Even what I'm doing is risky, but yeah. Sorry, I'm coming. I want to confirm something. I want to see if I put it as a string. Okay, it's not a string. It is plain. Okay, yes. So don't expose your endpoint and your key, right? Because I mean, someone can be using the resource that you created. So basically, they're basically using what you are paying for. You get. So it is not advisable. So once you are, that's why if you check the GitHub link I'll share after, I do not upload my .env file. Do not upload your .env file. It is not good. It's not good practice. They are basically telling the whole world that, oh, come and use my, I have money. Come and use my software, or come and use my subscription. That's basically what you're saying, right? So once we've done that, that's the first page. It auto saves. Then it said go to simple. It said open the code file under the existing namespace reference. Find the comment import namespace. Then under this, add this. So basically, copy, come to the file, go to import namespace, like they said, just following instructions there, nothing special. Control V, and it works. So we can remove this other import namespace. Don't forget that we already installed this thing, so it's going to work, right? Then, okay, you can come here. So we've done that first part. Sorry. Okay, so give me a minute, right? My laptop is running. I want to plug it. I'm still on the call. Let me just. I'm sorry about this. Okay. Give me about.
Okay. I guess while we wait for Jibela, if you have any question, or maybe you have any block count, you can you can raise your hand. Yeah, as the case may be.
Okay. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, in background. Okay.
Yes, you can just write your questions. Jose will note it. Thank you. Sorry about that interruption. Okay, so I'll just continue from where I stopped. Can you still see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. So see this part. They said in the code file for your client application in main function, note that the code to load the configuration settings has been provided. Then find the comment authenticate as your own client. So we just have to find that comment, copy and paste it over there. Copy and paste it over there. So just copy, come here. Authenticate, see it here in our main function. So very simple. I just have to work on these tabs. Get the tabs. Just remove this. Don't forget we already provided it. Yes, we already provided the key. So then use the read API to read text from an image. Read API uses a newer text recognition model and generally performs better for larger images that contain a lot of text, but work for any amount of text. Also supports text extraction from PDF files. Read API uses an asynchronous operation model in which a request to start text recognition is submitted and the operation ID returned from the request can subsequently. So now the funny thing is we really do not need to know all this, right? All we need to know is come to a code file, examine the code that runs if the blah blah blah. The code calls the get text read function, right? Back in the code file in Visual Studio Code, find the get text read function and under the existing code that prints a message to the console, add the following code. All we have to do to get it to work is just come in. Battery of the system is low, that's why it's making it hang more, but it's currently plugged. But hope you are following along. Hope you are following along and hope I'm being understandable. Do you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So we just have to copy and paste this, or I will explain. But let me fix the indents. So I just have to, and yes, that's all. Tabbed and fixed my indent. So basically, what this is doing, right, is opening the image file, right, as a binary in a binary format, right? Is reading the reading the image file in a binary format, and this binary format, right, that we have stored as image data, it's passing it as a stream, right? It's passing it as a stream to this computer vision client. This computer vision client is simply what we authenticated here. So in our case, this is our Corridor Spag waiter, right? This is our Corridor Spag waiter. We gave him the money. These are points of paying. We've given him the key. We've paid here and we've authenticated the location here. So we are now giving him that, okay, this is the image. I want a bao. You get, I want spaghetti. This is the point of doing that. Then this is just trying to get your operation ID, right? So while true, right? Because don't forget we said that it reads an image line by line. Do you understand? So while we are still getting now we are still getting a true operation, that means we are still reading the image. I want you to get some results, right? Whatever result is in the image, just get it for me, right? That's basically what it is. And save it in read results. Then if results.status is succeeded, want to access the page, the lines, then print. Simple. Simple. Let's check if there's any other thing. Say examine the code you added, submit a request for read operation. Like I said, the waiter is there, submit request, and then repeatedly check status until the operation has completed. If it is successful, the code processes results by iterating through each page and then through each line. Do not forget that, it's very important. Process through, if it's a PDF of multiple pages, it's processed through each of the pages and then each of the words. So it starts from pages to lines to words. Then for us to run this, don't forget, you see they're asking us 1, 2, 3, or whatever. I'll explain now. So in our images, there are 3. In our images folder, there are 3. There's a lincoln.jpg, which contains, and there's a notes.jpg, which we already even saw. So I want to open the lincoln.jpg here. The PDF file, right? It's taking time to open. So this note.jpg basically contains that shopping list that I showed us before, right? And in our code, right, it's loading the image right here. See this Lincoln image. See what it says. In this temple, as in the hearts of the people, from he saved the union. The memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever. So that's the text that's there. The note is basically the shopping list. Then the PDF. I have a PDF open now on my Visual Studio Code. If you try to open it on your Visual Studio Code without an extension, right, that opens a PDF file, it's not going to open. So this is the PDF file, right? So it extracts the text there. So basically, if you check our main, it says use the read API for image, use the read API for documents, read and writing, any other quit. So if option one is going to read API for image, the Lincoln image, you pick option 2, right? Rome.pdf. If you pick option 3, it's going to use for the handwriting, the notes, right? So that's basically it. We don't require any more thing. Let's check. And after that, the code, run it, right? We just have to, since we have our .m file, we've put it in, already know it up, we know the order, we know our request, we've given it the money. So all we have to do is just run. Just do Python. Now, it will not run exactly because, don't forget, let me explain something. We are currently see that I am in 20 OCR directory, right? I am in this directory, right? This 20 OCR. There's C# and Python subdirectories in this directory. So if I were just to say Python read text.py, right, it's going to have an hard time locating the Python file I'm looking for. Do you understand? So I have to navigate to CD Python. Do you understand? CD Python. Then I want to take it slow. So we see it CD. Then we have so if I do the images, then I'll see that it is under read text folder, read text. Then if I now do ls, you see that my read text.py file is here. So now I can safely do Python read text.py. I can safely do it. I'm sorry that the session is taking long. I'll be wrapping up very soon. I'll be wrapping up very soon. And like I said, if you've been lost at any point of the session, please do well to watch the recording again to be available. So read text.py. So Python read text.py. How am I using the terminal? I could just use my code runner extension and press play, right? I would not want to do that because if you use the code runner extension, it has issues with accepting inputs from users, right? So I use your terminal, be your Windows command prompt or your Visual Studio Code terminal or your Git bash, anyone that works. So I'm trying to run the Python file. Let's see. Let's hope it works. Let's hope it works. We followed all the instructions judiciously, so it should work. It should work. Fingers crossed. It's running. So it's meant to give us a prompt where we have to select a command. Do we want to use read API for image, API for document, or do we want to read and write in? Or if you want any other, kindly quit. Say if you don't want to read an image or document or handwriting, then that means our software is not for you. So it is running the file. It is running. Okay. So, some of these things, once things, right, we expect it to do immediately, but then it will surprise you to know that, never surprise you. So I'm used to know the amount of steps that's actually going on, the lot of steps, right, trying to reach East US. Don't forget our service is in East US. They're trying to contact the server there and all that. So now let's test for the Lincoln JPEG, shall we? So 1, reading text in images / Lincoln JPEG. So let's hope it works. Right. Exactly. In this temple, as in the hearts of the people, from whom he saved the union, the memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever, which is exactly what we saw in our image, right? Which is exactly what we saw in our image, in this temple as in the heart. So that's like an 100% accuracy. So let's run the same file. Let's run the same file and test for number 2 in the document. Let's see. Once again, I apologize for the background noise. Right, see, it's got all the text from the documents. That is fantastic. Now let's do for the third one, the handwritten text. Right, let's do for the third one, number 3. So don't forget the handwritten text. Shopping list, non-fat milk, bread and eggs. Bread and eggs. So that's wonderful. We've been able to create basically a software, right? Right now, nobody can use it, which would be we'll be entering the deployment part very soon. But at least right about now, we've been able to access an SDK that can extract text from image. I'm sure some years back, what we just did is going to be magic. People will be like, no. But then, thanks to Azure AI, it has made this awesome service available to our use. We can easily do that. You would agree with me that I didn't really do anything. I just went to the Microsoft Learn part and I went to the exercise and I just copied a bunch of code. And we have this. And trust me, you could actually explore this. If you have any idea that you want to build, you could explore this. You could go wild. You want to build something that would come and use Azure AI service to do that. Okay, so that's this section, the first exercise that I want to do in this section. Trust me, I'm wrapping up very, very soon. So now I really just I want us to leave the realm of just texting on our command prompt or our terminal. I mean, it's boring. Nobody knows that you've done anything. You cannot show up to your friends that you built anything. The only way you can show up to your friends that you actually built something is by deploying it and have to use it. They can be like, oh, you cheated. How do I know you actually built something that can do that? All you have to do is just show them this is ours. this is one I built, right? And you'd be able to have one in your name too, where you can title Josiah's app, Samuel's app, or whatever you want to name it, right? So okay, I was wondering what was going on before. So this is it. You can build this. We want to do now. We want to leave the realm of our terminal to the realm of deploying, such that anybody from anywhere in the world can access your solution at their fingertips, right? All we have to do now. I'm going to share my GitHub link, right? Yes, thank you very much, Samuel, for answering. I did not see. I'll still answer some questions, but thank you very much for answering. You would have to install some modules. So, very quickly, for this to work, you would have to do this. Click install python.m, right? Python.m, or better still, python.m. You can do that, or better still, just see. Bear with me. Stay with me. Let me open this slide. So I'm going to give you a link to my GitHub page, right? I'm coming to check questions very soon. Well, let me give you a link to my GitHub page. So don't forget, this slide will also be available to us. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste it here. So check the chat. So check the chat. On my GitHub page, right, the code for the deployment is there, right? But I'm going to walk through it. It's basically everything we had, but with some tweaks here and there, right? So as to enable us to do whatever we have to do. So basically, so let me just open it. We do not have to. So yes, for us to deploy this, for us to deploy what we just built, you actually have to first upload it to GitHub, right? You have to upload it to GitHub or maybe another centralized hosting platform for code, right? Or you can, GitHub is the most popular one. So you can also deploy it to GitHub. You should actually deploy it to GitHub if you can, right? So I'm opening it, it's taking a weird amount of time. So you see that in the GitHub, right? Basically, is here. You git clone it, you install the requirements or txt, then you run the app, streamlit.run app, right? Now, let me walk us straight. So the thing is, for us to use the Streamlit, right? You remember that I said for your password, your key, you cannot make it available on the internet, right? Because it's just like saying you want to go and buy Corridor bag, and you are showing that you have cash all around. You open your cash, and as you are walking on the road, you are showing everybody, this is my cash, this is my cash. Someone can easily snatch it from you and use it, right? So that's the same way we do not necessarily upload our .m file, right, that contain the secrets, they're called secrets, that contain the API secrets, right? Do is to the deployment platform. So I want to try and open the two screens side by side to be able to see it better. So now let's watch this. Everything in this main.py is what we already have currently, right? Is what we already have. The code from GitHub, the code that we got, their code basically. This is everything. There's nothing different. Everything in main.py file, right? You can still run it from here, right? I know that it was in AI to engineer Yes, it was in this. So basically what I did was I moved just this folder, this read text folder, to this spot. So everything we have in main.py file is here. And everything we have in app.py is for the deployment, which is what is on my GitHub, right? So if you want to use this, basically, you first have to install the requirements of txt file, right? Which is on GitHub. Just follow along. Install the requirements of txt file. If you do that, you automatically install the Streamlit. Streamlit basically is what we'll be using to deploy. It is very easy to use. It saves us from having to build servers and all that. We can just deploy from just putting our GitHub profile, right? The particular thing we want to upload from GitHub. That's all we have to do basically. So the only difference in the code, watch, we also imported namespace. Don't forget the main.py contains everything we just finished writing, right? We also imported namespace in the app.py. Then this set page config is just trying to, once you want to customize it, page title, you write it there, Samuel's app, Josiah's app, right? Then you put your page icon, then layout equals to wide, initial sidebar expanded. You can just write that, right? All this is on GitHub. Then st.write, this is just the comments we saw at the beginning. Some this thing that says built by Ajibola, all that, just write it. Built and Josiah, you can write yours, built by Samuel, built by anybody, right? Then this code, you see that before we had our get text read after our main function, but in this case we had it before, right? What's changed? The basic thing that changed in this is here. Now watch, you see that first of all, once we enter Corridor Spark, we present the waiter with our cash, right, or our ATM, right, to get food, right? You can either do it while you're seated, or you can go to the restaurant stand. You can actually go and meet them wherever they are, probably that show glass, right? So those are the two cases. So basically, in this get text read function, just imagine it as you while you're seated. You are paying your money for your food while you're seated, right? And this main function, imagine it as you actually go to the counter to pay, right? So you can do it anywhere. The goal is just to pay. Do you understand? So I paid in this at my seat. It might be confusing, but just forget that, right? The difference in these two codes is that I said I cannot upload my .m file because it's just like waving my cash at everybody to see, right? And it's dangerous. But what I can do is that on my Streamlit platform, I can provide this by keys. Do you understand? I can provide my keys. So you see that all you have to do in your code is just write this st.secret cog service key, right? You know, in our .m file, we add cog service key here as cog service key and cog service endpoint, right? We add this as this. What we have to do is just do st.secret, access this thing, but then note, it is not coming from your .m file, right? Later on in the Streamlit application, right, I'll show you where to put it, right? We'll still open Streamlit, show you where to type in this thing. So basically everything you wrote in your .n file, you'll be able to write it in your Streamlit, right? So which makes it easier. All you have to do is just access it. Do you understand? All you have to do is just access it. So that's all. That's the only thing that changed, right? So all you have to do is just copy that code and paste it, right? That's the only thing that changed. This time we're accessing it from Streamlit rather than from our local machine, right? Local machine. Accessing it straight from Streamlit. So every other thing is the same. Don't forget, get text read. No, not every other thing is actually the same. It just uses the same logic, right? You know, it can't be the same in the sense that for this main.py, which is what we already have, we got the image from our local machine, right? So since the image was from our local machine, we can easily open the image file. just like this. But for this, on the other hand, we can't really do it this way because we are going to be uploading the image over the internet. Look for a way to access this image, which is what is here. So our main function now is dedicated to accessing the image from the internet. And Streamlit abstracts away the complex thing we have to do. Simple, st.file uploader. Just write this text, the custom text, choose an image or PDF. So you put the type you want to be accessible, either JPEG, PNG, or PDF. If uploaded file is not none, and uploaded file is this. So basically, this code is just trying to tell us just logic between how we'd be accessing the. It's simple. Access your image, save it as st.image, and that's all. That's basically all. We are accessing our image through our main function. We are getting the image from the internet because someone is going to upload the image on the internet. We are getting the image, then we are going to pass this function to this image, get text read, right? So our image that already have, get text read to the image. So we already have the image, and then we'll just do everything we already did, and we are going to get it as right. We're going to get it as extracted text. So you already have the GitHub link. Just go there. You can fork the repo or clone it and just get on. You can use this as a starting point to whatever solution you want to build. Like I said, you can be really creative, right? So all you have to just notice this st.secret, right? So let me quickly show us how it will be in. Okay. The call will be ending very soon. Call will be ending very soon. Resources. The resources would be will be shown after. I'm coming to the chat room soon. The resources will be given after the call. Yes. So now I just have to go to Streamlit. Streamlit.com. Sorry, give it time. It's loading. Streamlit.com. So okay, yes, Streamlit.com. Is hanging. I do not know why. Streamlit.com. Bear with me. Streamlit.com. Yes. Let's head to streamlit.com to see what we can do, right? See what streamlit.io. So try Streamlit now. So it even shows you what to do. So you just sign in or sign up. In your case, you just have to sign up for Streamlit. And I don't know if it's going to continue with my Google because this is Microsoft Edge. I'm not sure. Let's see if it's going to continue with my Google account. It's currently my Microsoft Edge account. I'm working with my student ambassadors account. So let's see. Let's see. But okay, let me quickly show you here. Please show you on my taking time. It's taking time that we do not have. So let me show us here, because of time, let me just quickly show us. So it's.io. So this is my streamlit.io. It's loading. Let me check if it's done here. It's not still done. I think it's because my Google account is not signed to that. So okay, so Streamlit sign in, and you would create a new app. I've already signed in, so I've already signed up rather. So you just have to sign up. You can sign up with Google, right, or sign up with your GitHub. That makes it even easier. Then you do every other thing, right? So I really do not know why this is wasting my time, but let's see. So sign in. Okay. So it goes to share.streamlit.io as I signed in. So it's going to be quite faster here because my Google account is signed into this. Right? But you could actually use, I don't know, depending on the browser you're using, it's going to be easier for you, right? It's because this particular one is configured to my student ambassadors. So yes, it wouldn't be as easy to sign in, but then it's going to be easier for you depending on what the exact configuration of the browser you are using. Okay, so this is loading. So I'll not fully create the app. What I'll do is I'll just point you towards everything you need. So you see the app I already have. So I'll just show you all the steps you require and you create your new app. So all you need to do, paste what repository do you want to what repository do you want? I've already linked my repository right at the beginning. When you're signing up, it's going to ask you for your GitHub account. You're going to try and link your GitHub to Streamlit, right? Which makes sense, right? So once you link it up, then you would click on the repository that you want, the branch main, the exact file. The name of the file is app.py for me. So app.py. App URL, of course, I do not want this jargon. I can just write events, just do like this. Then all I have to do is click on no. Before that, do not forget that I said something about your .m file, right? If you just deploy it now, it's not going to work because it's basically like saying you're going to create this pack and you're not paying money. You assumed that the money has gotten to him somehow, but it's telling you that, or you transferred to him and he does not see his money. To you, you believe you've done what is necessary, but no, you still require to put the secret, right? Do not forget I told you about the secret. So is now, don't forget, is in form of a string in this one, which is quite different from that other one. Pay attention to that. So we just have to come to our file in our local, copy the .m file which we had initially. Just have to copy it, Control C, come here to our secrets, paste it exactly. Then don't forget to convert it to a string, put it, simple as that. Then basically we've been able to give it the money it needs. Then all you need is just to deploy, right? You just have to click on deploy, trust me, that is all. You just have to click on, I already have one deployed already, do you understand? I already have one deployed for this particular one. So you just have to click on deploy. That is all. You just have to click on deploy. That is all. So so that's basically it. You can use the Streamlit. It is very easy. And just go to my GitHub page. I provided the link. It is also going to be available here. So just go to my GitHub page, clone the code, and use it, right? You can tweak it to match whatever you want. And yes, that's basically it. So thank you very much for staying with me through this session, staying with I and Josiah. You can follow me on GitHub at AjibolamAthP1 and Twitter at Jibzy with 5 Ys. Get 5 Ys. Then follow Josiah on GitHub at Josiah-Adeshola _ Josiah Adeshola. So let me quickly take questions. So Josiah, please, can you read the questions, or have they been sorted out? Is Josiah still in the call? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but I don't know if Josiah can.
Okay. So does anybody have any question? If you have a question, please unmute yourself. It's faster that way, please. So just unmute yourself and let me know. If you have a question, just unmute yourself and shoot. If you have a question, please just unmute yourself. So I'll wait for some time. We can still hear me now. Okay. Just to confirm.
Yes, we can hear you. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I just copied your code, your app.py, and I'm trying to see if I can run it to get it to work too.
Okay, no problem. Just know that you first have to install the the requirement of txt file. You have to install that, and also you would have to create a Streamlit app and post the required key and endpoint for the SQL and all that. So yes, as far as you follow it judiciously, the thing written in the README is not for the deployments part. Actually, it's going to be deployed but locally. So if you follow exactly what is written in the README, you're going to be able to deploy it locally. Because of time, I did not talk about that, right? That one, you just have to run Streamlit, run app.py. And that one, you also use your .env, right? So that one is basically what you already have, but you're just putting it on a web page. So what we already have, when you just follow the blank solution from Azure, right? But we are just putting it on a web page. So that's all. If you follow this, then you'll be able to access it at your local machine in local host 8501. But all I did, I went straight to Streamlit app and I deployed this from there. Do you understand? So once you do that, if you want it to work, ensure you have all the resources installed, all the requirements installed on your local system. Then you would go to Streamlit, you create an app, then you specify the particular repo that you are linking to, right? Because you have to create a repo, right? Create a repo, push it to GitHub, specify the branch that you are calling from. Is it main branch or do you have other branch? Specify that, specify the name of the app, the Streamlit app, right? And click on advanced settings. On advanced settings, you click on you paste in the exact secrets, right? The endpoint and the key. Right, are good
That's
to go.
in advance, right?
Are good to go. Settings.
Okay. So I can delete the .env file from my main before I upload it.
Are you using GitHub? You are using Git now.
Yes,
Okay,
I should do git ignore.
Yes, exactly. You can use .git ignore.
Okay.
You also want to tweak some things locally before you upload it, right? You can just tweak it locally. So if you delete it, that means you have to create it each time you want to tweak things. You first have to tweak some things locally before you upload it. So just do .git ignore. You will see that on my own end, all these files, this is the particular repository that is linked to git ignore. But the only thing you see on my page is app.py, readme.mp, and that's all, right?
Yeah.
And my requirement.
So the images too, I can ignore it, right?
Yes, ignore the images. Ignore the images also. You do not need it. You just need either your main or app.py, whatever you named it as. So thank you very much, everybody. So I do not think I might not be able to wait to the end till you are done, but you can always reach me, right? On the Teams, you can always reach me, right?
Okay.
I was communicating to right now. This person I was communicating. What's your name? The person I was communicating to.
I'm Steven Samuel.
Okay, Steven Samuel, no problem. You can always reach me. On either my Twitter or this. You should be able to reach me on Teams. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I just want to know, do we learn something? We're able to follow through the entire call?
Yes, I learned a lot. This course has been very awesome. Thank you very much for your time and the effort put into it.
Thank you very much for that wonderful feedback. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for taking your time to be here. Each and every one of us, I really appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you in coming sessions. We could do some on image captioning, that explorabilities of our AI vision service. But till then, see you another. Thank you very much for joining once again. Thank you very much for joining. Okay, let me post the slide. Let me just post the link to the slide before we go.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. That will be helpful.
Yes, let me post the link to the slide. We just got promoted to beta. That's really nice.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So I've sent the link to the slide. Please give me a minute. Please, before you leave the call, just give me a minute. Please give me a minute. Thank you. I've sent the link to the slide though. Yes, I'm sorry for taking extra time. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much for joining. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to upload the recording on my socials, my Twitter and everywhere. Probably upload it to YouTube and all that. So thank you very much for joining the call. Good. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.